Y'all dudes better be careful, man. Y'all better be careful because the Jezebels are out on the prowl. Okay, it is the holiday season for all the pagans out there. And you better believe that these Jezebels are trying to lock some simp down or some godly man that is attractive and has a purpose. They're trying to distract him and long enough to get his energy for the holiday season because this is their time to reap harvest of soul energy and life energy. You got to be careful out here, okay? You got to be careful because today alone, I've now had 5, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 5 people reach out to me about something that's happening with the Jezebel spirit in their life. This is the season. 'Tis the season for Jezebel to be Jezebelin. The Jezebels are going to be Jezebelin. Okay? You got to be careful. So I want to read a scripture with you guys today. This is 1 Corinthians 10:13. There hath no temptation taken you, but such as common to man. But God is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but with the temptation also maketh a way to escape. Make a way to escape, that ye may be able to bear it. So in all your spiritual temptations with the Jezebel going on right now, you are going to be tempted lustfully. And I've had a lot of people, 3 out of the 5, that have contacted me today about this sort of thing. They knew that the Jezebel was not a woman of God. They knew it, and yet they pursued it anyway. They saw the red flags. They went ahead anyway. When you see a red flag, you have to say no. You've got to say no to these red flags. When you see the red flags, you've got to be able to walk away wholeheartedly and accept that this is just something that it is what it is, okay? And this is one of the reasons why I'm pulling up here on my laptop. A while back, I posted things that I will not tolerate as far as why I will never take a woman seriously. They were, if she hates her father, has male best friends, as party girls, past addictions to drugs, alcohol, or smoking, if she has too much makeup or fake eyelashes, okay, tattoos, wears provocative clothing and revealing outfits, multiple piercings, belly button, nose, etc. If she goes on girls' trips, she has pictures with her tongue hanging out. If she's an Instagram model or whatever, or if she's a nurse, a politician, or a lawyer. And the reason about nurses, politicians, and lawyers is they're going to try to out-masculine you, quote unquote. They're going to try to control you. Or the nurses are notorious for sleeping around, because I've literally heard stories from nurses when I was in college where the nurses that were practicing for their nursing program would blow the doctor in the back room so that she could get a better grade, and then bada bing, bada boom. And they were laughing and joking about it like it was nothing. And at the time I guess I was friends with these women that were nurses and training for nurses, but when I heard their stories, I just kind of sat there and listened. I didn't really know what to say or anything about it, and I didn't judge them at the time because I was still in my simp days at those times in college for the most part. But you guys got to be watching out for these kinds of things, because that's exactly what the Jezebel is going to go after. She wants you to look past these things. Okay, she wants you to look past these things so that you can be taken advantage of. Because this is what's so funny to me. When I talk about how men can avoid being taken advantage of, all of a sudden, I'm the bad guy. All the white knights come out to defend women and, defend their honor. And then you have the men and the women that are they're already in a relationship, and the man is like, he knows that what the relationship is wrong, and yet he stays in it because, oh well, the sex is just so good. Dude, you've got to get over that. Like, there's remember, God is not going to give you a temptation that he's not going to make you a way to escape as well, so that you can bear it. You already know there's a way to escape this temptation, whether it's to go on just go somewhere else physically. If you're on Instagram and you're seeing these Instagram models or whatever, get off Instagram. Like, don't look at these photos. Don't lust after them. Don't even give them your spiritual attention, because that's exactly what they want. Okay, this is exactly what they want. This is exactly what they desire. And they will do anything to ensure that they get that soul energy, because they don't know how to create it themselves. Okay, they don't know how to create these their own confidence with their connection to the Most High, because otherwise they wouldn't need your seed. Okay, they wouldn't need anything like this. But you have to trust that God's already made a way for you godly, attractive men that have a purpose to escape these temptations. Okay, I get tested on the daily, nearly every single day. Anytime I go outside my freaking door, even there are times where, boom, there's some kind of Jezebel trying to seduce me, or trying to get me to look at her in a certain way or whatever. And it's like, and then if you calmly go up to them and you say, look, I noticed the way that you were looking at me. I noticed this. Is there something you want to talk to me about? Oh, they'll get all like, oh no, I didn't say it. I wasn't doing that. Or, they'll try to gaslight you into whatever. Because they don't know how to handle direct conflict. They don't know how to handle, and they don't know how to be accountable for their actions. Now, there are women that are godly and that know how to be accountable, but guess what? They usually love their father. Now, if their father is like abusive and whatnot or whatever, and when I say that, because nearly all women will be like, oh, well, my ex was abusive. It's like, okay, well, 8 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, that's not true. They just couldn't control the guy, or they got pumped and dumped by Chad or Tyrone. And here's the other thing, like biblical Chads. This is also maybe something to touch on in this video. Like, the Jezebel wants a biblical Chad to be taken out as well. They want the biblical Chad to be taken out, because the biblical Chad oftentimes doesn't even know he's a Chad. He just follows the scripture. He just follows what he does, and he stays to his purpose. He stays on his grind. And the Jezebel wants to convince you that if you are this biblical Chad that doesn't know he's a biblical Chad, and you're like wondering, am I a biblical Chad? Well, a biblical Chad would just be somebody that is following God's law, statutes, and commandments, and takes care of himself physically. His nutrition is on point. Skincare routine of any kind or whatever it is, like basic grooming and habits where you keep a clean house. Obviously, you'll see my house, my apartment here, my 1-bedroom is clean. Like, I'm not necessarily the cleanest person in the world, but it's clean. And the devil wants to like really be more interactive with people that have a dirty inside as well as a dirty outside. So whenever there's a time when I feel like there's a Jezebel or there's some kind of demonic entity trying to leech onto mine and my energy, I usually clean something just to make sure that I'm keeping a clean environment, and I'm making sure that I'm honoring the cleanliness of mind, body, and soul, and the environment altogether. But that's just something that I do. I'm not saying you have to do that. I'm just saying that's something that I do. Because an unclean place is where you invite demons. And that just doesn't go for the internal. It also goes for the external, but especially the internal. And so you've got to be careful with these women, because the women that do hate their fathers, the women that do have male best friends, they're just using them for attention and energy. That's all it is. The party girls, they just want to have fun. They just want to have fun. They don't have a concept of responsibility. And a man's greatest responsibility is to be responsible. But the Jezebel doesn't see it that way. The Jezebel wants you to be caught up in her chaos, so much so that you're entering a world of confusion, of gaslighting, of manipulation tactics, etc. And like love bombing, blame shifting, triangulation. I mean, all of these different kinds of manipulative tactics to try to get you somewhere else. But you have to remember that there's already a way that you can escape this temptation. And one thing that I would recommend, if you really cannot conquer lust right now, like if you're really trying to conquer lust, which it seems like a lot of people are, because 5 people have reached out to me today about this specific kind of topic, which is why I'm making a video about it, because it seems like this is it. Like the season that we're in now, we're entering a point where it's colder, people want to cuddle, they want to be warm. The women want boyfriends now. During hot girl summer, they wanted to be single and liberated, right? But now now I want a boyfriend. I want to be able to be cuddling, snuggling, and secure during the holidays. Which the holidays, yes, are pagan. And it doesn't ever, sure, calendar-wise, it makes sense to have the new year, of course, but to be celebrating a new year in the middle of winter, like in the dead of winter, I've never understood that. I've talked about this before, but I've never understood that. Sometimes what I'm getting to understand the more that I'm doing YouTube and X and all these different other social media platforms is sometimes I have to say things that I've already talked about because there's new people joining, and they'll have questions that I've already talked about in my videos, but they don't go back to look at the videos all the time. They'll critique my work sometimes too. Sometimes people will critique my work and they see like a 2 minutes of their video and they're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, first of all, you didn't even listen to the whole video. And number 2, you didn't look to see any other research, like if I've talked about this kind of stuff before. So anyway, sometimes I have to repeat myself. I'm understanding that now. And I'm understanding that because I never like to repeat myself if I don't have to, because I want to be creating new things all the time. I want to come up with new ideas. I want to talk about different things. I want to go into the depths of the soul and philosophy and psychology and all these other things and relationships. But I also understand that this is something that we sometimes just need to readdress and reaffirm and remind ourselves of. But guys, the Jezebel, like tattoos are in essence a symbol of darkness. Okay, because you're literally painting your skin with something that isn't natural. And any kind of past addictions and such, like I'm looking at my list here again of women I'll never take seriously. It's like that's the embodiment of a Jezebel. So if I were to describe my ideal woman then, my ideal woman would be pretty much the exact opposite of all of these. So she'd love her father, ideally. She wouldn't have any male best friends. She can have a few like female friends and such, of course. Like I want to encourage that. But I don't think a woman that is ideal for me would have too many friends to begin with anyway, because she'd be a chosen one of God. And most chosen ones don't have a lot of friends. It's just the way that it is. She would absolutely not be a party girl. She would ideally have no past addictions, or if she has had these kinds of experiences with alcohol, drugs, or smoking, it's been like 1 or 2 times, or just a little bit here and there, once a year, twice a year, something like that, ideally. She wouldn't wear any makeup, ideally. I don't care about makeup. I want to see your real face, woman. I want to see your real face. She wouldn't have any tattoos because I also don't have any tattoos. I also don't have piercings. And she wouldn't wear provocative clothing. I'm not saying she can't wear like a tank top or whatever every now and again. Or like if she's wearing like workout shorts, not necessarily the short shorts that are skin tight, but if she's wearing workout shorts that, you know, go to her upper thighs or whatnot, that's not a big deal for me personally. If she's wearing like a tank top and she's still conservative, she's not just showing everything off all the time for everybody. But, you know, ideally, no skin tight short kind of a stuff. Multiple piercings. No piercings at all. No piercings at all, except for like the ear piercings, maybe right here. I don't mind that. But goes on girls trips. Yeah, she doesn't do that. She's not an Instagram model or a gym like a bodybuilder type woman or anything. I've had bodybuilder women in the past try to hit me up, or women that are competing on a stage where they're in the bikini shows, like a bikini model, and like sure, they're really attractive, but man, I don't want. Everybody's already seen it. Like, what's so special? That's just my mentality personally. Then, of course, she's not going to be a nurse, a politician, or a lawyer of any kind. She wants to be a mother. She wants to be focused on her family, and a woman that could have like maybe a remote part-time job or something. That'd be ideal as well. But ideally, I want to be able to make enough money to where she doesn't have to work. She can be at home with the kids, because I want plenty of kids, and I want to be able to repopulate the earth and replenish the earth with godly people. Now, of course, that's what I want still. That's what I still desire, but I'm still following what God has commanded of me from months before, which is to not necessarily be looking for that right now for myself, and to act as if that's never going to happen. Like, keep my heart open, but don't treat it like that. It's going to happen today. Like, it could happen today, sure, but don't expect it at all. Just make sure that you're focused on your life and building who you are and building your assets, your resources, and your energy, so that you can, when the time comes, if that happens, you can have that. You can provide for it. But these Jezebels, you guys, and that's exactly like what I just described there as my ideal woman, is pretty much every man that is godly and has a purpose. It is exactly like every other quote unquote godly, attractive man with a purpose, his ideal woman. So be mindful out here, guys. Be mindful of the season. You know, be careful, because this is the time where the Jezebels are going to try to take your life energy. So with all that being said, if you do want to join the Regal Change Academy, where we have a weekly Bible study call, actually we have 2 weekly Bible study calls now, and we have the weekly group call, you can join the paid community. We also have a free Discord channel and a community that you can join with some free resources. But if you're looking for the people that are serious, that are really striving, and that are really demonstrating that every single day in their mind, body, and soul, that they're progressing, the paid community is going to be where it's at. I also want to make an announcement for the paid community, which I'll post another announcement on my YouTube community post here within the next day or so. But we are going to have an Art of War class where we do a 7-week series going through the Art of War, talking about it and how it's been influential and why it's necessary for anybody that isn't even in the military to read something like this. Because this is going to be something that can be very useful for spiritual battles, like a lot of you men right now are going through with these Jezebels. You got to know how to maneuver your troops, like maneuver your spiritual self, not just internally, but externally as well. You've got to understand the terrain. You got to understand what the enemy is after. You got to understand what the enemy wants from you and what the enemy is trying to do in order to get that from you. Okay? That's why you watch for the red flags. That's why you don't ignore the red flags, because it's like they're basically, I mean, they're red flags for a reason, but the red flags are basically saying, I'm dangerous. But I'm also very desirable. Yeah, that's what the Jezebel wants you to think. Okay. But I also want to thank and appreciate everybody that's been moving from the YouTube platform over to the X and the Rumble platform, as well as all of the Instagram DMs that I've been getting with the support and questions and all that. I appreciate it. And with all that being said, peace be with you all. Till next time.